Am I clear? O nakikita. So, good afternoon everyone. Good afternoon sir. I am Omar Arip. So now I'll be, explaining the important concepts from the chapter 1, 2, and 3. So, first is we have chapter 1. So I believe in this chapter it introduces the idea of discourse analysis. So this discourse analysis enters the idea of the language is more than just a set of rules for making a sentence or using a lexical terms or linguistic items. However, it is more how we use the language in a real life situation or day-to-day basis. So in this discourse analysis, we look at the patterns of a whole text and how these patterns shaped by the social and culturals where they happen. Meaning, the factors such as the society, the surrounding, the people, the setting, the time, the place, it matters on how we use the language. So next is we have the language and context. So the relationship between the language and context, it's the meaning of what we say, it changes depending on the situations. For instance, if we are talking with if we are talking with our friends, especially outside the school, of course we use a such as informal language like bro, hi. We also use a jokes or throw a jokes with them, and at the same time, we are expressive enough to um, um, communicate with them. However, if we are talking with our teachers in especially in a classroom, of course the way we talk, the tone of our speaking is different. So the way we use the language is perhaps, or not always, but some sort of a formal language, like we greet them, we say po and hi, and the tone is very respectful. So next is the communicative competence. So one of the authors introduces this communicative competence, which is Delheims. So Delheims said that it is not about knowing the grammatical it is not about grammatically correct or not, but it is how we use the language appropriately. Meaning, it is not about knowing the grammar, but it is how we use the language appropriately in a specific situation. How we use it, to whom we use it, and where we use it. Understood? So, next is the written and speak and written discourse. So it is very clear that there are what do you call that? There are differences when how we speak and how we write. For instance, if for instance in speaking, right, we pause, we overlaps when we speak, and uh, and it actually doesn't, or it don't exist, especially in writing. Understood? So next is, let's proceed to this chapter 2. The chapter 2 introduces the idea of discourse and society. So it explore on how our identity, gender affects the way we use the language. So one of the authors here in the book is Cameron and Kulik mention the act of identity, which is the way we use the language. It represents who we are, and also one of the proponents mentioned in the book is Simon de Beauvoir. I don't know how to pronounce it, but Simon de Beauvoir, he mentioned the word performativity. This is the idea of what we say and at the same time we do it. For instance, no, if we say sorry, um, aside that we say it, or aside that we said that um, term or sorry, we actually do it. Perhaps we use what do you call we um, have a physical contact or some sort of um, um, providing an action. So that is the identity and performance. So we don't actually have the identity, but we actually perform it. Like we use a certain words that show who we are and how we want others to see us. Like like it is not just how we say it. It is it's not about the way we say it. It is about, or it connects about how we do it. Understood? So next is the language and gender. So I believe that it is very clear that different genders might use the language differently in a various settings. For instance, if a man and a woman, or yeah, if a man or and a woman talking to each other, of course, then we all know that the nature of the woman is caring or comforting, based on the experience, because women are um, um, I may say the nature is they are more they use comforting words such as they comfort by using "Are you okay?" or "If there is a problem, you just can tell me." And while in men, they usually don't really show their feelings, and the way they use the language, it's differ from the perspective of a woman. So another one is gay. So if a man or a woman talk to an individual which is a gay, of course the gay use a language differently. For instance, if a gay and gay talk to each other, of course they might use a terms or a language or linguistic tools to that they are only sila lang yung nakakaintindi. So for instance, if they use Tom Jones, so that term is it translates as egotom. So if those individual, like a gay individual, talk to each other, of course they would understand what they are saying and what they are talking. However, if a gay and man or a woman talk to each other, and those men and women doesn't have the shared knowledge with this gay individual, of course they might have the confusion or the loss in translation because they don't have the shared knowledge. Understood? So that's how the language and the gender is connected to each other. So next is we have the chapter 3. So in this chapter 3, it introduces the discourse and pragmatics. The pragmatics is how we understand someone means even they don't say it directly, such as the one of the authors also in the book introduces the speech act. Austin and Searle, I don't know how to pronounce, Searle and Austin. So speech act. So in a speech act, we actually say it, and at the same time we do it, such as requesting, apologizing, ano pa ba? and that kind of action, or yeah, that kind of action like requesting, apologizing. So in this speech act, it introduces the locutionary, illocutionary, and perlocutionary. So first, we have locutionary, which is the literal meaning. So for instance, if I would say ang init naman dito. So the locutionary is, the literal meaning is that the surrounding or the room perhaps is very hot, or it's so hot. So that is the literal meaning. Or we only look at the text itself, or how the speaker, or yeah, the speaker says it. Next is the illocutionary. So here in illocutionary, it is where the intended meaning. Understood? The intended meaning. For instance, if sinabi ko, ang init naman dito. So it gives another meaning, or it gives another implicature. Perhaps, for instance, as what I've said, sinabi ko, ang init naman dito. So probably the speaker want other people to perhaps open the electric fan, open the window, or that kind of request. And we in here in illocutionary, or in this speech act, especially in this illocutionary, we look at two things. First, the way the speaker see the, or the way speaker says the words, and how, and the meaning, or what is the implicator of the speaker said. Understood? So second is perlocution. Third is perlocutionary. So the perlocutionary is where the effect happens. Like, if the speaker said, ang init naman dito, and then yung magiging effect nun sa mga, or the effect of that statement to the other people would actually tend them to perhaps to stand, to open the window, open the electric fan. Ano yung epekto ng sinabi ng speaker na yun sa nakarinig ng sinabi? Understood? So next is the implicature. So the implicature is the intent meaning of what we say. So we have the conventional implicature, and the, what is another one is conventional implicature and pragmatic implicature. Tama ba yun? Basta yun. And conventional implicature, it is we look on the linguistic terms or tools of a speaker used. Like, ano yung ginamit niya? We only look at sa paano ginamit ng speaker ang sentence or ang words. Like, ang init naman dito. So, paano, yun lang ang ano doon. ang pinapakita, ang tinitignan natin. However, in pragmatics implicature, it is how the speaker said that statement and what is the intended meaning. So understood. So that's all the based on my understanding, that's all the important concepts of the that's all the important concept from chapter 1 to chapter 5. Thank you and God bless.